Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, on this wonderful Thursday for another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. As always, if you are new to this channel and finding yourself on my videos for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. That's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. Something pretty huge is about to take place. In fact, take place in the next 5 days. On the 30th of April, we are going to see a Bitcoin spot ETF and an Ethereum spot ETF, which most people are kind of missing out, actually go live and start to be traded over on Hong Kong's stock exchange, essentially. So this is going to bring a kind of route to Bitcoin in a regulated manner to the broader Asian market. This is absolutely huge. And what we're going to be doing is starting the video off there. And then we're going to be looking at gold and the kind of volumes that we've seen for gold this year. This is why I think this event is going to be so huge. Certainly over in China and Asia more broadly, we've seen massive upticks in regards to people buying gold. Why are they doing this? Well, it's because they're trying to escape the fiat systems, the failing fiat systems at this point that are in place and look to move into a different store of value. We've even seen massive upticks in regards to people buying gold jewelry as a hedge against government and actual devaluation of the currency. We're then going to be looking at where US debt is set to be projected to go in regards to the interest payments that are going to need to be made on it. The great game is up, ladies and gentlemen. The fiat systems are unraveling. This is why we think it's too good to be true that Bitcoin just happened to come around at the perfect time. And here we are, we're at a kind of snowballing end phase of the fiat systems. I don't think they're going to end just yet. I think they're going to kick that can a little bit further down the road. They'll kick the can as far down the road as they possibly can, certainly whilst they can get everybody to believe in the great lie, the great story. And then when they're ready to let it die, they'll have a new horse when we're all really comfortable with digital currencies because Bitcoin has kind of introduced it all to us. Or maybe Bitcoin is the plan. I don't quite know. I don't have all the kind of answers, but we are going to be looking at all that. And then we're going to be talking actually in relation to people escaping this game that is being played on them. We're going to be talking about how President Biden proposes increasing capital gains tax rates to 44%. The highest since 1922. So they know that people are, if you look at what's happening with the Japanese Nikkei, it's essentially a bet on the devaluation of the Japanese yen. It's a similar thing happening over in the West. Okay. And they know people are escaping and trying to get themselves out of the matrix, the hole, whatever you want to call it. And now they're trying to tax people so that that isn't the case. This is the whole concept behind a progressive tax system, is to keep people where they are. It is about equality, but not the kind of equality that we want, more the equality of everybody being equally poor. And then, of course, we'll round things off on the Bitcoin and crypto chart. So we've got some really interesting things to dive into. Let's dive into it all, and let's start things off with what's taking place on the 30th of April. So Hong Kong's in-kind spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs will start trading on the 30th of April. That is this year. A total of 6 crypto-based spot ETFs will begin trading in Hong Kong beginning April the 30th. Initially, 3 spot Bitcoin and 3 spot Ethereum ETFs are officially approved to launch at the end of the month. Hong Kong has officially cleared the way for 6 crypto-based spot ETFs to begin trading on the 30th of April, according to Bloomberg analysts. We will, and we think technically we are signaled to have an Ethereum ETF eventually. But this is big news because this opens that kind of liquidity tap for the broader Asian markets on that can now flow into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we will get an Ethereum ETF in the US and the UK, I believe. There's just a regulatory hump that I do think we'll overcome. Yesterday, we did look at the fact that I think it was it Franklin Temple's ETF was delayed, and the SEC officially commented on that. That happened on the 23rd. So we reported on it yesterday. It was the 23rd when that actually happened. But they're not saying no. They're just saying we're basically stalling. So what they're doing is putting things in place. And with Bitcoin, I think the real challenge that they wanted to overcome was CZ and Binance and bringing that kind of back into their control, under their jurisdiction. So this is huge because this is going to open the broader world up to Bitcoin. Initially, 3 Bitcoin and 3 Ethereum spot ETF exchange-traded funds will become available, allowing investors to wager on the price of the two dominant cryptocurrencies without having to buy them directly. Earlier this month, Hong Kong approved several spot Bitcoin ETFs and spot Ethereum ETFs managed by China Asset Management, Harvest Global, Bozera, and Hashkey. So this is absolutely fantastic. China Asset Management is the largest of the three issuers with more than 55 billion in assets under management in mainland China and 3.6 billion in Hong Kong, and total of nearly 100 ETFs across both regions, according to an online presentation shared by Bloomberg. So I'm not sure whether actually people on mainland China will be able to buy the ETF. There is a ban, and it's natural that, that over in mainland China, they don't allow a lot of things. So why would they allow an escape from their currency and kind of government reach? But why do I think this is going to be huge? Probably more so than anything. Well, I've highlighted this previously. I'm going to highlight it again. What is happening in China? So gold trading volume in China is now 400% larger than the average seen in 2023. And 2023 wasn't a particularly bad year. The trading activity in gold on the Shanghai Futures Exchange spiked to 1.3 million lots on the peak day of trading last week. This came, by the way, trading volume is 400% larger than 2023. We're only, 4 months into the year, 5 months into the year, essentially. So this came at the same time that gold prices broke above a record $2,400 an ounce. Last year alone, China's central bank acquired more than 225 tons of gold. Since October, gold is nearly 30% up, posting one of the best 6-month performance in history. Bearing in mind, Bitcoin is in an uptrend against gold, so Bitcoin is going to appreciate for the same reason that gold is. The fiat system game is up. We even see people, China is going crazy for gold jewelry, purchasing up 10%, coins and bars buying up 28%, passing India, central banks also buying. They know the world has been on a dollar fiat system, a dollar-backed system, and people know that that is coming to an end due to the kind of proliferation of it. It's very interesting what's going on right now. There's never been, I don't believe, I always get asked this question, where would you go if you could go back in time? You could do anything, you could go anywhere. And I always say right now, because this is the most interesting. Look at all the convergences of all the technologies that we have. Look at what's taking place. How many people get to live through, and it might not be a great time, by the way, the fiat system's changing. All I know is the fiat system. It's all I've been born into. Bitcoin has really questioned that narrative, and it's why it's so important for the world. But we're actually witnessing the destruction of the dollar. Now, the thing is with the dollar, and I'm not saying there's going to be particularly a new currency that usurps it without a total collapse. The dollar is the system. So people say, people are going to go here or there. I mean, you could see that if everything just imploded, which we're not ruling out of the cards. We've still got that biggest yield curve ever to contend with. We just don't think it happens for a little while. And we haven't been in the band camp of markets are going to crash since the start of 2023. We're out the market for 2022 during that bear market period, back in start of the year 2023, and done very well since. And we think that this bull market will continue, but there is a major crash, the crash of all crashes, coming at some point. And timing is everything in the markets. Somebody could sit there for 10 years and say the crash is going to come, and then when it eventually happens, they go, I told you so. Well, kind of, but also not really. So interest rate debt is out of control. The annual interest rate expense on US debt is literally moving in a straight line higher, now at 1.1 trillion. To put this into perspective, less than 3 years ago, the annual interest payments was in excess of... So this is craziness, guys. $450 billion. That's a 114% jump as total US debt has surged by over $11 trillion since 2020. Just over 4 years on. Even in 2008, at the peak of the financial crisis, annual interest expenses was just about 450 billion. As interest rates surge and debt levels hit records high, we are paying the price of decades of deficit spending. The era of free money is over. And this is why, this is US statistics, but this is why we're seeing China do what they're doing in regards to gold. And Bitcoin is also, I believe, going to act as a store of value. There's this amazing narrative that's going to see this bull market come to fruition. It's going to be over-exaggerated as a result of all this, and already has been. And actually, very interestingly, because they know that people are escaping. They don't want the rats escaping. And that's how they view us. Just in President Biden, so I don't think Biden's actually gone and done this himself. I think it would be the people around him. Proposed increasing capital gains tax rates to 44.6%. It was Canada the other day that did this, and we said, welcome to communist Canada. This is not, there's nothing capitalistic about charging people 44% of what they earn on money they've already paid tax on and then invested. That's not capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I can't remember exactly which rule it was in Marx's manifesto. He is adamant, just like he is in regards to a central banking system and having monopoly over that, he's adamant about having a progressive tax system so that people can't escape. And that's what this is all about. They know the game is up and they're going to try and limit that in whatever way they possibly can and keep the power by taxing people. That's what's going on here. By the way, I don't do myself any favors by talking about this stuff. In fact, we've received a lot of hate since we started talking about this stuff. Didn't used to get it. Maybe we've got bigger as a channel and that kind of comes with it. And shout out to each and every one of you guys supporting the channel day in, day out. It really doesn't go unnoticed. We do notice it. So he also proposed a 25% tax on unrealized capital gains for wealthy individuals, should this be approved. And I know what people are thinking, because what they do is they play on people's hearts. Well, this guy's a multi-billionaire. Of course, he should probably pay 25% tax. It's fairer for the world. Is it? You know, if your idea of fairness is respecting people's rights, how can you then take from one person to give it to another? And I'm a big believer that you need to put people's rights, their liberty, in front of fairness, because you end up with the best version we can possibly offer in this world, which Nirvana is not for, of fairness, than if you try and put equality before individuals' rights, because then you end up taking from people, and that isn't fair. You end up with neither. So this is crazy. Canada was one of the first, and they're doing this because they know people are escaping. And actually, we're seeing things really ramp up in China in regards to people really going heavily into gold, which is essentially a kind of anti-fear, if you will. Bitcoin is going to benefit from the same kind of storyline. It is in the gold category, in my opinion, in regards to an external store of value other than the fiat systems. And Hong Kong, like I say, it's going to be interesting to see what the inflows of this are on the 30th of April, but this is a good narrative. Let's talk a little bit about the price of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's very much been following the technical roadmap that we set out for it, and we still have that higher target of 150K, okay? It's just doing what things do. Things don't go up in a straight line. People have unbelievably unrealistic expectations when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. Don't even get me started on what we saw with Hedera the other day. And people rushing in after a 120% gain. There's nobody that would have said that that was a good idea. And people need to, I don't know why, I don't want to go too much on about this. We're propagating bad decisions. We should be saying, no, why did you do that? You know, you need to be responsible for your own actions. In crypto generally, and people have very unrealistic expectations, but this is very much progressing in the manner that we expect it to do so. The real chart for me is total 2. So I'm still waiting for this to form as a right shoulder. That's going to see this market run to $3.7 trillion. Right now, you've got a lot of earnings coming out, some good, some bad. You know, Tesla, you've got Meta that got hit quite hard actually the other day. Let's take a little look at this. You can see where these guys are looking to open. You know, coming back to that 30 weekly moving average, this is still an uptrend. Things correct on an uptrend. Right now, you've got a kind of macro headwind against you in regards to a higher than we'd like to see dollar. Obviously, yields up as well. This is all really on the back end of interest rate pricing now being priced out the market, or interest rate cuts now being priced out the market. It's coming on the back end of inflation. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day in regards to PCEs. Ultimately, I'm bullish on bonds, which means I'm bearish on yields, which means I'm bearish on the dollar. In the longer term, I think we've just got a hump to overcome. And that's going to align with the global liquidity cycles and the destruction of the fiat systems. And I still think that is the broader trend. Right now, there's just that bump in the road. So that is really it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed the content. I know I've certainly enjoyed delivering it. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. I'm wishing you all a wonderful day wherever you are and whatever it is you're doing. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next.